Jason Miller wasn't your typical ladies' man. He didn't have a six-pack, drive a luxury car, or wear designer labels. But somehow women, particularly high-value, ambitious, emotionally secure women, were drawn to him like moths to a flame. What was his secret? It wasn't luck. It wasn't just charm either. It was something deeper. Something far more magnetic than shallow attraction. Boundaries. Before Jason became the man that women gravitated toward, he was a different person entirely. He was once a people-pleaser, always bending over backward to gain approval, often at the cost of his own self-worth. He had spent years being taken for granted, ghosted, or strung along by women who didn't value him. His wake-up call came during a messy breakup with his ex-girlfriend Lisa, a woman he thought would be his forever. She was stunning, successful, and knew how to command a room, but Jason had completely lost himself trying to keep her happy. Lisa constantly tested him, canceling plans last minute, flirting with other guys in front of him, and disregarding his feelings when he brought it up. And every time, Jason would forgive her. He told himself that's what love looked like: sacrifice, patience, and understanding. But all it really was a lack of boundaries. It wasn't until Lisa finally left him, saying he was too nice and not assertive enough, that Jason began questioning everything. He was devastated, confused, and angry. How could being nice be a problem? Why did women seem to fall for the guys who didn't treat them well? He spent the next year doing something most men avoid: working on himself. He read books, listened to relationship podcasts, journaled about his experiences, and hired a coach who specialized in emotional intelligence and masculine energy. That year transformed Jason from a needy, approval-seeking guy into a man who held firm in who he was, what he stood for, and how he allowed others to treat him. He didn't become arrogant. He didn't play games. He simply built a life governed by strong, respectful boundaries. And when he did, high-value women noticed. They didn't just notice, they chased him. Not because he was playing hard to get, but because he was genuinely difficult to sway from his values. That kind of emotional strength is incredibly rare, and deeply attractive. One evening at a rooftop party in Austin, Jason met Kayla, a pediatric surgeon who was confident, witty, and incredibly self-aware. They clicked instantly, but Kayla wasn't someone who could be impressed by good looks or clever lines. She had her own standards. And Jason passed every unspoken test. Not because he tried to, but because his boundaries naturally filtered out games and drama. That night, when Kayla jokingly teased, "I bet you're one of those guys who replies instantly to texts," Jason smiled and said, "Not always. If I'm working or focusing on something important, I'll get back when I can. I don't like splitting my attention." She raised an eyebrow, impressed. That was the first of many moments where she saw that Jason wasn't desperate for validation. He had a life, and it didn't stop for anyone. Over time, Jason discovered that there were 6 boundaries in particular that consistently attracted women like Kayla. These boundaries weren't about manipulation or strategy. They were about self-respect. And for high-value women, who have healthy self-esteem and don't want to babysit someone's emotions, those boundaries were irresistible. The first was emotional independence. Jason never needed a woman to complete him. He had friendships, hobbies, goals, and a mission in life that he didn't abandon the moment someone new came into the picture. When Kayla tried to make plans on a night Jason had scheduled for his martial arts training, he didn't drop everything to accommodate her. He said, "I'd love to see you, but I've got class that night. How's Thursday instead?" She smiled. That kind of grounded confidence is rare and unforgettable. The second boundary was his time. Jason didn't let anyone waste it. He was punctual, focused, and didn't entertain last-minute flakes or constant reschedules. Early in his relationship with Kayla, she once canceled dinner an hour before because of a friend emergency, which turned out to be her getting caught up in a group brunch. Jason didn't explode or guilt-trip her. He simply said, "No problem, I just don't usually prioritize people who don't respect my time. All good though. Take care." That was a turning point. Kayla respected him more for it, and never did it again. The third boundary Jason mastered was his standards for communication. He didn't engage in toxic arguments, ghosting games, or mixed signals. If someone couldn't communicate openly and respectfully, Jason gracefully exited. When he and Kayla had their first disagreement about exclusivity, Jason didn't raise his voice or manipulate. He calmly stated his perspective, listened to hers, and said, "We don't have to agree, but I need clarity. If you're not ready for something serious, that's okay. But I won't invest deeply in someone who's unsure." That clarity forced the conversation to grow. And it did. The fourth was physical boundaries. Jason didn't allow chemistry to override compatibility. Even if the attraction was strong, he didn't rush into physical intimacy without emotional connection. That self-control wasn't just attractive, it was rare. One night, after a romantic evening, Kayla leaned in closer and said, "You're not like other guys. You're not in a rush." Jason simply smiled and said, "What we build is more important than how fast we go." Kayla later told him that moment made her heart race, not from lust but from admiration. The fifth boundary was emotional maturity. Jason didn't play victim or blame others. When things didn't work out, he reflected. When Kayla called him out for a miscommunication once, he didn't get defensive. He said, "You're right. I missed that. I'll do better." That humility, combined with strength, was what made him stand out. High-value women don't want perfection. They want emotional responsibility. The sixth and most powerful boundary was this. Jason never tolerated disrespect. Not from women, not from friends, not even from family. He believed that anyone who truly valued him would never deliberately disrespect him. And if they did, it wasn't negotiable. Kayla never tested this, but she admired it. She once told him, "I feel safe with you, not just physically but emotionally. You'd never let me walk all over you, and I love that." Their relationship grew because of mutual respect. It wasn't built on games, overgiving, or trying to impress. It was built on values, clear standards, and emotional depth. Jason's story isn't a fantasy. It's a reminder. In a world full of noise, shallowness, and short attention spans, true attraction is not about chasing. It's about becoming. When you become a man with solid boundaries, you naturally attract people who value them. And those who don't, they fall away, leaving only room for the women who respect you, admire you, and want to build something real. Years later, Jason and Kayla were still together, planning a life based on trust, honesty, and mutual growth. People often asked him, "What's your secret?" And he always gave the same answer. It's not about tricks or tactics. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and never compromising that for anyone. The right woman won't just be attracted to it, she'll cherish it.